Anyways, hello. This is my Rome impersonator tier list. So at the bottom we have what people claim to be kind of like Rome, but I don't believe to be Rome at all. Like, who thinks Brazil is Rome? I will never know. And why is Rome in Romania's name? I mean, it's a romance country, but like, it's so far away, and it has basically nothing to do with Rome. And people say, "Oh, France is the new successor to Rome," and I think that's the closest one out of all of these that would maybe be considered part of Rome, because of what I'll get to later. Anyways, so this is our next tier. This is ones that actually have some similarities. So I'd like to point out Greece and Turkey first. They both have major territories that Rome used to have, and some of my major things is that if it has similar territories in like cities or similar government, then that puts it higher into the chance of running into being like Rome. So what we have here also, we have the Bulgarian Empire, and this has some connections to Rome. It has a lot of the same territories, and the Umayyad Empire, or I think that's the Umayyad Empire, has a lot of similar territories like Tunisia, Tunis, almost Tunisia actually, only has Libya and Egypt, Alexandria and stuff. And then we have an almost reformed Italy, which is pretty close. It has a lot of Italian territory. Italy is the most important territory, as you'll see. Anything with remote Italian vibes gets basically a lot higher on the tier list. And then we have the Second Reich, Germany. And now this one seems like an oddball. It seems like it should go here with all the other random European nations like Spain. But the one thing that's going for Germany here, even though it barely had any Roman territories, unlike Spain, which had a lot, is that it has very similar vibes, power, and also like governmental control, right? Now we're moving on to the next tier, which is the closest, very close to Rome. I wouldn't call them Rome, but I would say they have very similar territories. They have very similar empires-ish. So we got the Charlemagne boys. These ones have very similar empires, basically. It's basically the same thing. This is the Empire of France, and this is like Charlemagne's whole thing. And this one has a lot of Italy, which is important, but it also has like kind of like the similar size factor that gives it like the Roman appeal. And I feel like Napoleon gives very, very strong Roman energy for me. Like, it's expansionist, it has a lot of Italian territory, and it fell, sadly. Alright, now we have Austria-Hungary. Now, the one biggest thing it has for Rome is that its own people were very divided. And Rome was basically just like a system of countries, not just a country in and of itself. And I feel like Austria-Hungary embodies this, but Austria-Hungary also has like Italian territory, you could say, and then a lot of the Dalmatian coast. Now we're moving up in the list. I'm not sure what country this is. This is Western Rome, I believe, and I think that is. If this is Western Rome, it should go into the #1 spot. So I'm going to move this up here. Western Rome is Rome. It's even higher than any of these, actually. It's higher than Byzantine or the Ottomans. It should actually be above this. So, like, it should be above here. Alright. Anyways, the Kingdom of Italy, its whole point was to revive the Roman Empire. And, like, it had pretty much all of Rome. Excuse this absolutely terrible drawing. But it had, like, Italy, and then it had, like, Albania, and then, like, all of, like, Libya, and, like, what else did it have? Parts of Greece. Alright, that's pretty Roman. It's pretty Roman, if you ask me. That's very Roman. All right. Anyways, I got a little off topic. We got the Avar Cognate. I don't know why I put this here. I was looking at Eastern Rome. I thought it was that, but I think Eastern Rome comes up here. The one thing this has going for it is that it has a lot of Roman territories, but it has nothing to do with Rome, pretty much. Now, this is, I think this is also the Kingdom of Italy. Just look at it. It's like all the territories that I consider like important to Rome. The most important one is this part of the Italian peninsula is the most important part of Rome, and it has that. I mean, that's something that the Ottomans can't even say either. And I put them as basically the Roman successor, because that's what I truly think. But speaking of the Ottoman Empire, it's next up on the chopping block. It has basically another thing for Rome is that if it surrounds the Mediterranean, or if it like controls the entire Mediterranean, it's Rome. It's Rome's successor. And that's something that the Ottoman Empire could say to a T, because it had basically the North African coast, it had Greece, it had Anatolia, it had everything. It was good. And I know I forgot the name of Anatolia in my latest episode, episode 3 of Europa Universalis. Be sure to check that out. I might link it at the end. But yes, the Ottoman Empire was great. Moving on to Eastern Rome, otherwise known as the Byzantines. I mean, they're Rome. They're literally Eastern Rome. They had, at one point, the Italian peninsula. They had what they needed, but the other part that they also need, which is less necessary, is the area around Constantinople and Greece. And they had both of them. They had all three. They're the true successor of Rome. Wrapping this up, what did we learn? Rome isn't back. You can keep crying and begging, but Rome will never come back. Actually, I'd like to add the new successor to Rome. Watch this. I know the Italians are going to hate this because they don't really like them right now, but it's the European Union. They have Italy, they have like Greece, they have all the necessary territories to make it like, I mean, is it a country? Not really, but it has everything. The moral of the story is that the EU is the new successor to Rome, and everyone can go cry about it if they don't think it is. Alright, thank you.